So let's start. As I said, I think it's a good session to end with because we had a lot of data, a lot of information. But can we keep all this data in our head? It's too much information, and that's why we developed a fertigation management tool that's called NutriNet to help you build your own fertigation system. So the 4 questions when we need to create a fertigation system is which fertilizer we want to apply, how much, when we should apply them, and how. 2 methods that we need to take in consideration. Are we fertilizing quantitative method or proportional? Quantitative method for heavy to medium soils, and then we apply kilogram per area. And if we work on soils of very light soils, we need to work in a proportional method. When we work in a concentration, ppm, millimoles, milliequivalent. So we have the basic crop demand for, let's say, tomatoes, but then we have soil analysis and water analysis. We need to customize our plan according to our specific plot, okay? Soil analysis and water analysis, this is money for a farmer, okay? The soil contains elements, the water contains elements. You can decrease it from your fertilization program and save money. A lot of farmers usually give the plant all year long, all crop cycle, the same fertigation program. But plants uptake different elements in different phenological stages. The uptake is different. We can't do it by same fertigation week by week. We need to look what is the phenological stage of the plant and to react accordingly. When we look into soil tests, we have, I'll say, 3 major elements that we want to look into. One is in nitrogen, okay? We want to test nitrate in ammonium. If we have a lot of nitrogen in the soil, we can reduce a little bit the nitrogen. Phosphorus, if we have very high P in the soil, high phosphorus in the soil, we can still see that sometimes we have phosphorus deficient. This is because, not because it's a lack of phosphorus, it's because the soil pH. And potassium, very high potassium also we can decrease from our program. Same for irrigation analysis. We can have calcium, magnesium, some nitrate sometimes, bicarbonate, sulfate. All of these we need to take in consideration and decrease it from our program. This is a lot of money for farmers. So we have crop demand, then we subtract soil analysis, subtract water analysis, and then we can adjust our program customized to our specific plot. And after that we can choose the real and the exact fertilizers. So reality for growers, they need to calculate the demand, they need to subtract water, need to subtract the soil analysis, they need to choose products, they need to check the compatibility between products in the mix tanks. This is a lot of things to think about. And this is why it's easier to do it with a digital tool. When everything, all the mind and everything, all the data that we were talking today is in one tool. And this is why we developed NutriNet. It's a fertilization management system free of charge, okay? This is the knowledge of us, Haifa, bring to the farmers. It's very rich and localized database of crop requirements. So we have crop requirements for specific crops, but also for specific areas and territories. Sometimes tomato in Israel is not like you fertilize tomato in Spain. Depends on the variety. It's very responsive. You add your water analysis, soil analysis, and the plan will adjust automatically the recommendations. And it's very flexible. Let's say you as a farmer, you want to adjust a little bit your nutrient requirements because this is something you know it's best for your variety or crop, or maybe you want to add your own fertilizers. We keep the program very flexible for your use. This is cloud-based, you don't need to download it. It's available for everyone. As I said, it's free of charge. You just can go to the Haifa Group website, or just in Google, press NutriNet, and start working with it. And now I'll do a short demo just to get the feeling of the program, and then every one of you that is relevant for him can go home and play with it and get the feeling. Okay, so this is NutriNet, and you create your own account. After you register, you create your own account, and your account is visible only for you, but you can share it with your fellow farmers or consultants. So this is the main page of NutriNet. It looks a little bit confusing, but we'll go step by step, and I'll show you how you can get the most out of it. So first of all, you can see here we get some weather alerts that we gave for farmers. So for this specific in Lucknow, moderate now conditions for spraying condition, no stress detected, and optimal fertilizer solubility. We took a lot parameters inside, so this is different alerts for farmers. But you as a farmer, you want to create your own fertigation system, and we try to do it very simple. 3 simple steps, and you have your program. So you press create new program and give your program a name. Let's call it demo program for today. Then you choose what is your crop cycle starting date. This is very important because the program will, according to phenological stage of the plant, it will give you the recommendations. Then you select your plot, or you add a new one. But if you created already your plot, so you can just choose from the list down below. I created for this demo, let's do a tomato plot.
So how do we add a new one? Just click
Add new plot on the side. And let's do, just for the example, I'll do one in Lucknow. Hazara?
Yeah, HZARA. Let's see whether it actually catches. Yeah.
Hazara.
Yeah, space. Leherpur.
Lucknow?
Leherpur. L-A-H-A-R. Yes, the top one.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the area. Then you go to your specific plot. Okay, let's say, I don't know which plot, but let's say just, huh?
The right one.
The right one on the right side?
Yeah.
No problem. I'll do for you your specific program right now, doing for you the work. Okay, so let's say I'm marking my plot. Okay, this is a polygon, and if I go down, I do next. And you see, automatically, this system calculated my plot size. It recognizes, this is, here, one moment, I'll put it, this was in Hebrew because I'll put it in English for you, India, and what type of units you want to work with. So I'll say something about this. Acre, we use usually for, this is the American unit. So when we use this, use this in this system, it will also give you recommendations not in kilograms, but in pounds. So this is something we can add. I will talk to Sachin about it because this is very specific for India, using acre, but with kilograms. So we'll use hectare. And I'll call this, just for now, Lucknow. Okay? Then we have there, the next question is you're asking, is your plot is an open field? Is an open field? If it's an open field, then we can give you NDVI photo images. If it's a polyhouse, so it's not an open field, then we won't give you NDVI. Mm-hmm.
कितने लोगों को NDVI समझ में आ गया? NDVI बता रहे थे सर। नहीं समझे नहीं। Normalized digital vegetation index ये सैटेलाइट इमेजिंग का होता है और ये सॉफ्टवेयर सैटेलाइट इमेजेस के साथ कवर्ड है क्योंकि हाइफा के पास हाइफा के पास एक क्रॉप ट्यून बोल के भी प्रोग्राम है जिससे सैटेलाइट इमेजिंग आपका कन्वर्टेड होता है। तो ये पेड सर्विसेज होता है, हाइफा इज गिविंग यू फ्री। ये एनडीवीआई बोले तो जो अब ऊपर से जो सैटेलाइट जा रहे हैं वो हमेशा इमेजेस ले जाते हैं और वो हर 24 घंटे में एक इमेज भेजता है और वो NDVI जो नॉर्मलाइज डिजिटल वेजिटेशन का इमेज है वो इसको इंटीग्रेट किया हुआ है और अगर वो ओपन फील्ड है तो ही सैटेलाइट इमेज क्रॉप करेगा, अगर वो पॉलीहाउस में है तो उसको इमेज नहीं मिलेगा। इसलिए साहब बता रहे थे कि अगर ओपन फील्ड है तो वो NDVI इंडेक्स कैलकुलेट करेगा, नहीं तो नहीं करेगा।
Okay, so let's for now keep it as we can do it as an open just to see the NDVI. But when we do a fertigation program for polyhouses, we usually don't say it's an open field because we can't get NDVI under polyethylene cover. Yeah. So we have now our Lucknow plot here up above, and then we need to select our crop, okay? And this is why it's very important to understand if we are fertigating quantitatively or proportionally, okay? Because this is a different recommendation, okay? So let's say we are growing in a soil, medium heavy soil. I'll give two examples. One is medium heavy soil. We'll go for a quantitative program. Here I filter quantitative, and I look for, let's say, tomato. I have different ones. Let's say I'll take in Mexico, okay? Just for example, okay? So this, after we press next, we have the expected yield, ton per hectare. Okay, and this is a specific recommendations for tomato grown in Mexico. Okay, and you can adjust your expected yield if you think you will get if you get more yield or less, and the program will adjust the nutrient requirements accordingly. Okay, so we can adjust. Let's say we get here around 200. Okay. And then we need to select what type of fertilizers we want to work. Polyfeed. As Sachin said before, we have all the NPK and microelements together, or we work with straight fertilizers. With straight fertilizers, sometimes it's easier because you're more flexible. Polyfeed, you have everything blended in one bag. Let's choose straights and submit. There is another step that you can add. You can add all kinds of irrigation amounts and stuff, but this is not mandatory. You can just skip it and create the program. And 3 simple steps, you have your NutriGation program. Okay? So I'll talk about what we see in each part of the system right now. So on the left side, you can see our different information. So we have our crop type, a name, what nutrition method, what is the crop cycle, what is the current stage right now. Remember I put the starting date of the crop cycle, so now right now we are on transplanting. This is the expected yield, the plot, and plot size. Then up above we have here, I'll say 4 different tabs. The three of these are the most important one. The first one is the nutrient requirements. This is the basic nutrient requirement for tomato grown in Mexico in soil crops. Okay, and you can see the different phenological stages and the different requirements for each stage. Okay, so we have all the NPK, calcium, magnesium. And you see they don't do any sulfur or microelements in transplanting. They only start the microelements from establishment. So this is very important. You have a by stage, by phenological stage, the requirements, and then the total for the whole season down below. But this is very nice. What I do with these numbers, I need to interpret it to fertilizers, right? So I go to fertilization recommendations. And this, I go stage by stage. So right now in transplanting stage, this is what is required. This is the requirement per day. And you can see up above the units, this is kilogram per hectares. If you want to move between units, you can always do it here. Okay, so you can go to dunam or mu or this is, as I said, pounds per acre. Let's go back to hectare. Okay, so we have requirement per day. If we put our water analysis, we'll have a water input. It will decrease it from our requirement, and then our fertilizers input will be adjusted accordingly. And then we have the total. Down below, the last line is according to the fertilizer that the system chose that the system calculated and chose for you, this is the fulfillment with using this fertilizer, fulfillment of your requirements, okay? So this is a default calculations the system did. Now he recommended the best combination will be multi-K, this is potassium nitrate, MAP, monoammonium phosphate, magnesium nitrate, and calcium nitrate, okay? And you see we get almost 100% fulfillment with this fertilizer. You can see down below how much we should apply from each fertilizer, kilogram hectare per day. Let's say these fertilizers are not available near your dealer, okay? You want to use different fertilizers. You can always edit them, okay? You can do edit fertilizers. You can take off, let's say I don't have MAP, I'll take it off. Add a different phosphorus fertilizers. The first way of doing it is you can just save and apply. Oh, something went wrong, one moment. Let's go back. Okay, so let's take off the MAP and save. Okay, so now we don't have MAP, and you see our phosphorus here, P2O5, 0 fulfillment. We don't have any phosphorus. Let's look for a different phosphorus source. I go down below and do add fertilizers. And this pop-up slide will open. I can search my own fertilizers, but the system will also recommend what kind of fertilizer I can use. So he says, okay, you can use MAP. This is the only one. Because if you use different fertilizers, you won't get good fulfillment, okay? But even though if you want to use a different one, let's use, Let's use phosphoric acid. Let's look it as acid. Okay, this is nitric acid, phosphoric acid. Okay, and let's add it. Okay, and we save and apply. Okay, and if we go down below, we get our phosphoric acid, 100% phosphorus. Okay, so this is fertilization recommendations and the amounts we need to add from each fertilizer. But actually, how would you apply them in our tanks? The next tab is our nutrition system. Okay, we created, because we have calcium nitrate and we have phosphorus fertilizer, automatically the system will input 2 tanks, okay? One is for content for phosphorus and one for calcium, and it does the compatibility automatically. It won't let you put fertilizer that is not compatible with another one. And you can see we have tank 1 with 1,000 liters. You can play with the volume, and then you have the content phosphorus and how much you should inject per day, okay? So with this amount of fertilizers in the tank, this is the amount of liters you should inject per day per hectare. And this is the amount of tanks you will need for this stage, okay? So you will need to make 1 tank and also a 3/4 of a tank more after you finish the tank. So think about it. If you finished your first tank, don't make another one. Just make 1.75. This helps you to design your program. So you can see here, it tells you put potassium nitrate and phosphoric acid in 1 tank, or magnesium nitrate and calcium nitrate in the other tank. This is very specific in kilograms. You can, if you want to see it in bags, you can just move it to here and you see it in 25 kilogram bags, okay? So this is very useful. And this is the most basic program. Okay, so this is a basic program for tomato, but let's say my plot has a lot of phosphorus in the soil, okay? I don't need this much of phosphorus in my fertilization plan, so I can input my soil analysis, okay? So I go and add a new analysis, and I can add a new, I go to the soil tab and add new soil analysis. And here I have a report name, the sampling date, soil texture, what type of soil I have. Let's say I am growing on clay loam, and the different nutrients that I take directly from my soil analysis. So you can see in P we have two methods of methods for soil analysis in P. One is Olsen and one is Bray. So it's very important to understand what type of method the lab is using because it's different recommendations. Let's say we're in Olsen and let's say we have very high phosphorus, okay? This is ppms in Olsen. This means available phosphorus, okay, according to the pH of the soil. This is what it means. Okay, let's say we have some potassium in the soil and some calcium, okay, and etc. and etc. You can add all the elements that you have. You put your soil EC, let's say it's 1, and your soil pH, let's say we work on 7.8. And after you finish applying your soil analysis, the program automatically will adjust your nutrient requirements accordingly. So this has happened in the background, but if we would look in the initial one, now the phosphorus is lower than the initial program. Okay, you can do it yourself. You will see at the beginning and after, and also potassium. So this adjustment automatically according to your soil analysis. So this is for quantitative programs, okay? But what about if we're growing in very light soils or soil cultivation? We have a different program that we need to do, and it's a proportional program, okay? So we call this prop demo. And it's a little bit different. We'll choose our date and our plot. We can use same plot. Let's use the Lucknow plot. You see automatically he knows we already inserted the soil analysis historically, so we can use the same soil analysis, or we can just skip it. And let's choose a proportional. Let's do, let's say do capsicum. Okay, so we have sweet pepper soil is proportional. And we continue on. Then we have the expected yield, okay? And in proportional, different from quantitative, we sometimes want to use also acid tanks. So this is why you can create your own nutrition system right here, okay? You can add your own nutrition system. We give the option for 3 tanks, one for phosphorus, one for calcium, one from acids. You can decide which one is which, you can just play with it, okay? And you can remove, maybe you don't use acid, you can just remove it or add one. Okay, so this is a 3 tank, 1,000 liters, okay. So then you need to input what type of volume, okay? You can work in liters or gallons. And what type of system do you have? Is it a fixed system? It always injects the same liters per cubic meters, or you can adjust it. Is it adjustable? It's very important. Most of the system today are adjustable, okay? So we'll just keep it adjustable. And we in Haifa, our experience and our recommendations is by default, if the temperature are okay over, let's say, around 20 degrees, it's okay to work in a 20% concentration stock solution. But let's say the temperature decreases under 10 Celsius degrees, so it's better to decrease the amount of fertilizer in the tank so you don't have any precipitations, okay? So we created our nutrition system, here it is. And then we select again what type of fertilizers and submit. So the program looks the same, but there's a few different things. You can see the units here. You see the units are ppms. Okay, this is not kilograms per hectare. We're talking about proportional. You can work in ppms. In the Netherlands, and they like to work in millimoles, and in France, they like to work in milli equivalent. Okay, so each of you can decide which one you want. And the program does the conversion automatically. You can see how the numbers just change, okay? So everything is changed. If we work in milli equivalent, so it will show you in milli equivalent per liter. Let's stay in ppm, that is milligrams per liter, okay? And you can see the program looks the same. We have 4 different growing stages here and the recommendations in ppm with the macro, secondary, and micro elements. This is a lot of, we like, in Israel, we look at the different elements as the oxide form, but in some countries, people use it, you can see here the K2O, calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, but some countries like to look at it as elemental, okay? So it converts it automatically. Now it's P and K and calcium and magnesium, okay? Just using these tabs. Also, you can see it a very nice graph doing the whole season, doing the different stages, how the different nutrients, how the different nutrients in different phenological stages. Okay, so back to our crop. Okay, so everything is the same. This table is the same, but we have here water input. Okay, so usually when we work in light soils and in soil analysis is not that relevant because we don't have any cation exchange capacity. So usually the soil can't really hold any nutrients. So the most important thing in soilless substrate and stuff like that is the water analysis. Water analysis sometimes holds a lot of nutrients inside, and if you don't take that into consideration, you exceed the amount of specific nutrients. Especially you can have calcium, magnesium very high, and then you have antagonism with potassium, for example, okay? So we have fertilization recommendation, and here is our nutrition system, okay? And it does puts the right fertilizer in the right tank for compatibility. So let's say we will take our water source to the lab, and we want to add this water into our program. We can just add analysis report, go to water, and let's add a new one. Okay, so this is our new water report. What was the sampling date? What is the tested water? Is this well water or over groundwater? Okay, depends. And then we start to input our water analysis parameters inside. Always look what units the lab gives you. Is it in ppm or it's in millimole, milligrams, milliequivalents? Very important. Sometimes they give you in different units, okay? So you start to put inside, let's say our water pH is 7, and we have some calcium. This is well water, and we have some calcium and magnesium inside. Okay? We have all these elements, also bicarbonates. Let's say we have high bicarbonates in the water, and we want to acidify the water in order to correct our pH. We have some maybe sodium and chloride. Okay. Now the AC, according to what you inserted, the AC is calculated automatically of your water analysis, but you get it also in your lab report. And after you enter all your numbers, you assign this water analysis to the system. Okay, we added bicarbonate in our lab analysis. We added to our water report, and the system automatically reacts and he asks you, you have bicarbonate concentration, what type of acid you want to use in order to neutralize, okay? So for our example, let's use the sulfuric acid, and it will put it in the acid tank. Okay. What this note means that, okay, be aware that you have a lot of bicarbonate, and this is why we need to add sulfuric acid, and your sulfur may be a little bit high in this specific phenological stages, okay? So you can see that in vegetative growth, you can see our water input here, okay? So you can see the calcium and magnesium, and look, the system says, well, you have enough of calcium and magnesium, you're even exceeding the amount. You don't need to add any calcium and any magnesium into your program. This is very important because a lot of farmers don't take in consideration this inputs, okay? You don't need any calcium and magnesium in this specific growth stage. If we will move to a different stage, maybe when you have more, no, this is very high amounts, okay?
59 is very high.
Yeah.
59 is high.
So no calcium and magnesium. This is a very big advantage when you add your water analysis. And you can see This is all the fertilizers you have. No calcium, no magnesium. You have already in the water. This is money. This is nutrients in water that you get from your water. This is nutrients that you have in your water, and you don't need to fertilize them. And you can see here the sulfuric acid on the acid tank. This is the amount to apply for the amount of 200 ppm of bicarbonate in order to neutralize it and to keep a little bit of a buffer of bicarbonate. As Sachin said, the pH is very fluctuated, okay? If you have this threshold that if you pass, the pH just drops. So this is important that when we give the recommendations, we keep a small buffer of 0. We keep around 50 ppm bicarbonate as a buffer. So this is a proportional program, and you get everything. And as I said, because we said it's an open field, even though it's a polyhouse, we can let's say this was an open field. We can calculate our NDVI. It will take a few seconds. Meanwhile, I can explain here. Okay, so you have your program. Okay, this is on the cloud. This is on the software. You want to take this and go to your office, or you want to do the plot and to understand what to do. You can just create your own PDF, decide which phenological stages you want to see in the PDF. You can add your own comments and send it by email, or just download it to your computer, and then you can print it and take it with you wherever you go. And you have everything here, okay? So you have by stage, okay? So vegetative grow, nutrient supply for crop, what fertilizer to use, how to apply them in the tanks, what is the concentration of each element in tanks, and et cetera, for each growing system. And another nice function is share the link. Okay, you can share it with your colleague. Even though he doesn't have a NutriNet account, you can just share a link. You see the link copied to clipboard, and you can send them by mail. Okay, you can send this link by mail. And he will have the option to view your program, but without modifying it, okay? So you can see the program was created by Aviel. The program is read-only and cannot be modified, so you can share it with your colleague. Let's go back to our NDVI, see if we got it. Here we go, okay? So we have our NDVI. This NDVI was taken, the satellite went over the plot at the 11th of February, so not long time ago, a few days ago. Okay, and you can see this means NDVI is between 0 to 1. 1, it means this is I'll say an indication of the greenness of your plot. Okay, so you can see here in this specific plot, we have a very nice cropping plants around here, but this area is in a very bad situation, very low density of chlorophyll. Okay, so this is a nice tool just for farmers to understand the variation in their own plot if they are growing open field. Okay, so this was NutriNet. It has a lot of function. As I said, it's free of charge. You're welcome to try it. Just go to the Haifa Group website and start using it. And if you need any support, you can just go support and contact us if you have any questions. And we have also different video tutorials that explains you each part is what I explained today. We have videos that go with you step by step to explain how to create your own programs. So I think that is it for today. So thank you very much.